Hi guys, thanks for stopping by. So today we have another 2 weeks worth of manicure video. I don't know what it was this week. I don't know if it was daylight savings or if I was just really busy with work and life, but this week kicked my butt a little bit. So I was feeling very, what's the word? Very unmotivated this week. So a lot of stuff didn't get done that needed to get done, which included some videos. So like I said, this is going to be another and hopefully the last video with 2 weeks worth of manicures, at least for a little while. So 2 weeks worth of manicures, a little bit of some old stuff, some new stuff, a couple hits, couple misses. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first up, 2 weeks ago, I did throw in some green polishes to start getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. First polish that I decided to go with is Zoya's Ireland, which is a really nice, just kind of muted, kind of khaki green with just like a slight bit of green to it. It's a really nice neutral color, great formula. I did struggle with this manicure a little bit, so definitely not with this nail polish at least. This nail polish is really nice, it has a great formula. I wanted to do some nail art. I haven't been doing nail art recently. I don't know if it's just because I've been feeling like uninspired. I haven't really been able to think of anything to do. So I wanted to try and jump back in. And so with this manicure, I started with Zoya's Ireland, and then I wanted to do some stamping. And so I decided to maybe try and do some reverse stamping because I had been doing fairly well with my stamping recently. So I thought I would try to dive in and maybe do some reverse stamping. So that unfortunately was an utter fail. I think I kind of know where I went wrong. I think I was able to put the paint, I was able to color it in, I was able to, pull it off of the stamper. I was able to make the image. Where I failed was being able to transfer the image to my nail, and so I just struggled with that a little bit and ended up screwing up the manicure quite a bit. So I was already way behind schedule once I realized I had screwed up with that stamping. So I had to take off whatever I had screwed up, repaint Ireland, and then I went ahead and just did a regular stamp of white, just a white stamping polish, and did some like succulent cactus stamping. And so I was already way behind schedule and I was ready to go to bed, and I was just exhausted at that point, just wanted to be done with the manicure. And so I stamped on the image probably a little too soon, and so when I stamped it, it did smush the base color a little bit. So as you can see here from the swatch, it just didn't look great, and at that point it was like really late and I was just exhausted and wanted to go to sleep, and I just didn't care. So I was able to, kind of salvage some type of manicure out of it, but it definitely was like an utter fail. So I love this color, but unfortunately just the whole manicure itself was kind of a disaster. So that wasn't a great start to the week, but this is a really nice polish. So that is Zoya's Ireland. And then that Tuesday to try and maybe brighten my spirits and maybe, try to get me back into things, because I felt really defeated after doing that nail polish, after doing that manicure. So I wanted to go with something easy and something I know that I would like. And so for me, that's obviously a purple. And so I decided to test out another one of the A. Englands that I got recently. And this one's called Angel Grace. And this is just a medium purple with that same kind of light scattered holographic. And when I say that, I mean like it's very tiny pieces of scattered holographic, barely visible on the nails. If you're thinking of like Zoya's scattered holographics, the scattered holographic in this is very, very finely milled. So it's going to be more of like a dusting of scattered holographic, almost to the point where it almost looks linear. So beautiful formula. I really, really enjoyed this polish, and this definitely kind of lifted my spirits and brightened my mood a little bit. So this was really pretty. So that is Angel Grace from A. England. And then I picked up, I think right around this time, I picked up this polish, which was from Painted Polish by Lexi. She had just released a new collection of, I can't think of what the name of it was, but it's basically a bunch of, taupe. I think it was something taupe. But it was a bunch of neutral taupe colors with all of them having like a different kind of feel. And so I was debating what of the collection. They were all really, really pretty, but I definitely knew I didn't want to buy all of them. So I ended up only buying this one. There were 2 other ones that I was kind of on the fence about, but I ended up not getting them just because I have been trying to tone down my indie purchases. And I had the last painted polish I got, I wasn't super thrilled with the formula, so I didn't want to go super crazy with this purchase because I just wanted to, you know, try out another one of them and see if maybe it was a fluke or maybe maybe I could get used to the formula on these. So I went ahead and just got this one, and this one is called Paving Rainbows. And this is a cool kind of taupey brown. I'm back a little bit further today, so I'm trying to, come on, focus, bud. I think that's, there we go. So this is a little bit of a darker taupey brown, cooler taupey brown, and it has the like rainbow glitters in there. And so this is a really cool concept. I really like, you know, it's a little glittery, but the brown definitely tones down the glitter a little bit. So this was the one I was most intrigued about. I feel like it was kind of right on my alley. I still just can't get used to this painted polish formula. I don't love how the glitter just sinks into the polish. It just doesn't, it's very textured. Again, I bought the nail pattern boldness glitter food, so I did a layer of that. I also did a layer of top coat, and it still wasn't enough to really suspend the glitters, and so the glitters still kind of just sunk into the polish. It just looks a little gritty on the nail. It just doesn't have that like 3-dimensional look that I want. And also this, since the color on this is so opaque, one coat I think is it was weird. Like, I wanted to do 2 coats. Like, 1 coat was definitely opaque, but I felt like I wanted to do 2. But 2 coats, the color is so opaque that you just cover up the glitters that you had put down on the first coat. So I don't know how I feel about this polish. I want to try it again, but I don't think 2 coats really it's kind of pointless to put on 2 coats because you're not going to see the rainbow glitter from the first coat, and it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't like darken up the color at all. But I just wasn't thrilled with the, I don't love the finish on these, and I don't have the time to be sitting there doing 3 coats of top coat. And like I've said before, I did the glitter food this time, and I use I use the Glisten and Glow top coat, which to me I feel like is pretty thick. So I don't really want to have to put down 3 or 4 coats of top coat to get these to work. So if anyone else likes these nail polishes and you haven't had and you like and you're able to get the formula or the finish to be a little bit more what I'm hoping I'm coming across to you is just a little bit more like 3-dimensional, let me know what you guys use your top coats or what you do to try and make these work. Because for me, and the same thing happened with the other painted polish that I got within the last couple months. I'm just not super thrilled with the formula on this. So this one's still I'm still kind of on the fence as to whether I like this polish or not. So that is Paving Rainbows. And then for Thursday, I decided to try this guy out because I hadn't tried him out in a while, and I'm trying to slowly like get into my like, what's the word I'm thinking of, pastels. So I decided to try and bust out a few pastels this week to see if I was kind of ready to move into pastels. And so this one that I've had in my collection for a little while is China Glaze Don't Be Shallow. And I don't know if any of you guys have any polishes like this, but this is a polish that I've had in my collection for a really long time. And every time I wear it, I think to myself, why do I still have this polish? I've used quite a bit of this polish. I've shaken it up, but I think it's probably like, you know, around here. So I've used a pretty decent amount of this, but the formula on this is terrible. It's this weird jelly, it's jelly consistency, but still at 4 coats, it's kind of like, it never gets fully opaque. I think I only did 3 coats for the swatch here, but you know, it's like 3 to 4 coats. It never gets fully opaque, which is fine. I don't mind a jelly finish, but like it's very patchy. So like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, you know, enlarge the picture enough for you to be able to see, but like it just wasn't an even coat. Like the sides of my nail would have way more polish than the middle of it, and you could totally tell that from, you know, looking at it on the nail. And it's always been like this, but I think it's just I don't have any other colors like this in my collection. I think I purchased this a couple summers ago. It came out in like a summer collection. and the reason I bought it is because I didn't get, the summer before that, China Glaze released a collection, and I want to say it was like a road trip collection, and I missed out on boho blues, which is kind of similar to this blue, and so I was really pissed that I didn't get boho blues. And so the next summer when this came out, I was like, I'm just gonna buy this because it's kind of close to boho blues. But this formula is just terrible, so I think I'm probably gonna end up destashing this. But I don't really have any other blues in my collection like this, so part of me kind of wants to keep it, but every time I wear it, I hate it, so I feel like I should probably just get rid of it and kind of maybe hunt for a blue like this. It's kind of like a medium cornflower blue, so it's just not a color. Oh, this thing does not want to focus today. So yeah, it's just like a cornflower blue. I just can't get past that formula. So that is Don't Be Shallow by China Glaze. And then the last for the week, for last week, I got this in the For Love of Pahlish box. This was the first one out of the trio that I decided to try, and the guest indie artist, or the guest indie maker for the March For the Love of Pahlish box was Great Lakes Lacquer, which I was pretty excited about because I have not tried Great Lakes Lacquer. And the March theme was lakes, and so if you haven't seen the For Love of Pahlish box, it's a subscription. I'm not quite sure how it works, but I think you can sign up for the subscription and it just automatically will come to you, or you can just sign up, you know, you can do like the pre-order at the beginning of the month and buy the box, something like that. Anyway, it's just like it's a little subscription box that you can buy. It's $30, and it always has a polish and a polish for days, and then there's always a guest indie maker. So Great Lakes Lacquer, this is the first one I've tried from the box for this month, and this is called That Ducking Lake. And this is a beautiful polish. This is a kind of sage green. It's a sage green with a really nice kind of gold, like gold reddish duochrome, which you can see there. It's a beautiful kind of like foiled, it's got like a foiled look to it. So I really enjoyed this polish. Not usually my cup of tea when it comes to like foiled polishes, but I just really loved that shimmer, I think is what gets me, and it was very apparent on the nail, and it just had a really nice finish to it. So this was a pleasant surprise, and great formula on it for being a foil. Definitely, you know, because I'm pretty sure this is a, I think this isn't like a clear. I'm not gonna be able to open it because my hands are all gaily, but yeah, it's basically like the green, the sage green, and then like the reddish gold shimmers in there. So wonderful formula on this. So I can't wait to try more from Great Lakes Lacquer. So again, that is called That Ducking Lake. Yes, That Ducking Lake. All right, so for this week, like I said, I had been slowly starting to bring in a couple pastels to see if I was kind of ready to start moving into my spring polishes. And so for the first, for this week, I tried Haruko, which came out in the spring for Zoya. It's a very nice like lavender purple with a paint with a violet shimmer, which in that video, I did review this a couple weeks ago, and in that video I did have a hard time catching the shimmer that's in here, and so it looks like, again, I'm having a really hard time picking it up again. But it has just this very it's basically almost the same. The shimmer that's in here is basically almost the same color as this, and so it has a hard time. It has a hard time picking, the camera has a hard time picking it up. But it's this really nice purple. Surprisingly, for all the purples I have in my collection, I don't have anything quite like this purple. It's just a very bright pastel, like lavender purple with a little bit of pink in it. So very unique to my collection. You don't really catch that purpley pink shimmer that's in here. It's not super apparent on the nail, and because it's so close to the base color, it just more works as a way of like glow, kind of glows, helps the polish glow off the nail. So as you'll see here from the swatch photo, it's a beautiful color. The formula on it's pretty thin. I'm not super crazy about the formula. I wish this was just like a slightly bit more opaque, because I think even at 3 coats, it's still kind of like, I wish it was like a tad bit more opaque. But the color on it is really pretty. So I'm wondering if maybe I can maybe just put like a layer of purple under it and then do this, or just maybe put up with it. Because it's a really, like I said, it's a really unique purple to my collection. So this, unfortunately, I tried to do another nail art with this particular polish on Monday. I attempted to do some like, what did I attempt to do? I tried to do a smush mani, and that failed as you know, as per usual, I guess, at this point with my nail art. I guess I just didn't use opaque enough polishes, and so when I went to stamp it, it just was totally, like, you couldn't even see any of the colors. They had all mixed together and they weren't opaque enough, so by the time I started mixing them, it was just a disaster. So I don't know why I've been having such bad luck with my nail art. So ended up just doing a full manicure of the Haruko because I didn't have time to fix the smush mani at that point, because that's the only thing. It's like I don't have time at night to, you know, do all these intricate nail art things. And so when I struggle with nail art, it just really frustrates me, because by that time it's just like, I want to go to bed, I want to be done with my nail polish. And so when my nail art doesn't work, I just get really frustrated. So that's what happened, but this is still a beautiful polish. I'm just kind of iffy on the formula. So that is Haruko. And then for Tuesday, I decided to do another St. Patrick's Day, you know, moving into St. Patrick's Day, I decided to do another green. This is Tiana. And I haven't worn this too much since I got it. This came out quite a few years ago. This is, it's a more of a, I think they call it a pistachio green, but I don't know why, because I don't think pistachios are really this color green. It's basically a mint green, but it's a lot more green than other mint greens. It doesn't have a great formula, not super great formula. It's not self-leveling, and I think I'm starting to come to the realization that I don't think I like mint polishes on myself. I think they're just a little too bright for me, and I don't know, I felt very, this just felt very out of my comfort zone. It just felt very bright on the nail. I feel like when I do wear mint greens, I like them to be a little bit more subdued, like Zoya's Bevan and Sage, and just very toned down, more muted greens. I feel like mint greens to me are just a little bit too bright on the nail for my taste. So didn't really care for this polish. I believe I did do some nail art on this guy. Oh, no. I did do nail art. I did nail art on that Great Lakes lacquer from last week, which you would have seen already, so I forgot about that. That nail art actually worked out. Forgot about that. But anyway, I ended up doing this as a full manicure. And I think I did try to do a smush mani on this too, and it didn't end up working out. So I've had some fails in my smush manis. I need to keep working on those. But so yeah, I'm kind of, this I wasn't super crazy about. So that is Tiana. And so I went ahead and decided to try out some new guys, since I had been wearing a bunch of old, and the other thing too is those other like pastels that I've been trying. I feel like maybe I'm just not also ready for spring polishes at the moment, since most of those, I think the China Glaze, the Don't Be Shallow, the Haruko, and Tiana, it could also be that I'm just not super ready for spring colors yet, because I don't know, I didn't really care for any of those. Haruko was nice. I really love that purple, but I feel like maybe I'm not quite ready for spring, so maybe that's why I'm not super in love with those manicures. But anyway, so decided to try some new polishes that I've been getting in. The other Tonic polish that I got, I tried Ambrosia a couple weeks ago, which was beautiful. The other polish that I had picked up with Ambrosia in their recent release was Bauble. And Bauble it's kind of an inky, it's got an interesting like base color to it. To me, I want to say it's like a violet purple, but on the nail it kind of comes off a little bit darker, of like, on the nail it looks more of like an inky purple in some lights, but looking at it in the bottle, it's like it's a bright violet, but then it has this like unicorn pea type shimmer in it, as well as some bigger flakies, which you can see there. Beautiful polish. That copper, that unicorn pea shimmer is super apparent on the nail, and it just glows off the nail. This is so gorgeous. I am so glad I picked this up. This is a beautiful polish. Love, love, love that. So that is Bauble. Highly recommend that. It's, oh, if this is still available, I don't think it's still available, unfortunately, but if you can find it, this was gorgeous polish. And then I also got in, I decided to pick up this polish. I had wavered on it a couple times, but then I finally just decided I really wanted it because I've been trying to pick up a couple more Crellies recently. And KB Shimmer hasn't had any available, or I just wasn't super thrilled with the ones that were available. So I saw this one in the recent release from Different Dimensions, and so I decided to pick it up because I haven't tried, I have a couple of their polishes, but I haven't tried any of their Crelly mixes. So I was kind of excited about this because I thought this was an interesting combination. So this one is called Room Where It Happens, and this is a white, obviously a white, and this has some different colored glitters in here. So it's got some gold, some pink, I think it's mostly gold and pink. Yeah, and there's some different size glitter. It's mostly gold and pink, but there's like some different size glitters in there and stuff. So this was a really pretty polish, a little bit thicker of a Crelly than say a KB Shimmer. It's not, the base on it is a little bit more opaque than Jelly, but still a great formula. This still to me isn't as good as a KB Shimmer. The glitter still kind of sinks into the base a little bit more than I would like, but it isn't as bad as the painted polish formula that I've been using, that I have tried on those other ones. So this formula is a little bit better. It definitely gets better with the glitter food, and then the top coat, it definitely suspends a little bit better in the base, but still, to me, it's still not a KB Shimmer because the white on this is still a little too opaque. So even with two coats, you can't see, if you do a second coat, you can't see the glitter from the first coat, and so it just seems kind of pointless to do a second coat. But sometimes you need that second coat to kind of like even everything out. So I do like this. I think this is an interesting combination of colors, and I really enjoyed it. But I still feel like KB Shimmer is my favorite Crellies as of so far. So, but I still like this. So this was Different Dimensions Room Where It Happens. And then the last polish for this week is my first Illyrian polish. I picked up 2 of them last week from Beautyometry because they had a few and I hadn't tried any Illyrians yet, and so I was intrigued with the ones that they had on their website. So this one is called Wolfsbane. And let me see what the base on this is, because it's an interesting, it's kind of it's like a dusty turquoise base. But as you'll see here, it's got this beautiful bright green kind of tealy shimmer that is super apparent on the nail, very bright. Oh, this was such a beautiful polish. And this was the first one I had to wear because I just thought that shimmer was really unique. So that is a beautiful polish, great formula, can't complain. Can't wait to try more from Illyrian. And actually this looks, now that I'm looking at it in the bottle, I don't think it came up on the nail, but this does. It looks like the shimmer is a little duochromy because in the bottle here it's coming up a little like pinky purple, but in the bottle, or in the on the nail, you just see this green color. So I don't know if you can see that in the video here, but I think this is a duochrome shimmer, but you're mostly just going to get that green. So that is Wolfsbane, beautiful. I also picked up, I'm waiting on my March polish pickup, which I think should be here in the next few days, and I got another Illyrian polish, so I'm excited to try those. And so those are all the polishes I wore for the last 2 weeks. Let's see, if I had to pick favorites, I would have to go with that Ducking Lake from Great Lakes Lacquer, and I think Bauble by Tonic Polish were my 2 favorites. And yeah, that is it. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, I was very unmotivated last week, and I think it has something to do with the nail art. I just haven't been super thrilled with, because all my nail arts have been failing, I've just been super excited about my manicures. Even though I really loved those polishes, like some of those polishes, I feel like I should be doing more with my manicures, and I don't know, just the failures in my nail art just really kind of put me in a kind of funky mood the last 2 weeks. So that could also be why I haven't been that excited about filming, because I just feel bad, like I feel like I haven't been showing any like interesting polishes or something. I don't know, that's silly to say, but I think maybe that's why I've just been kind of in a funky mood since I was doing really well with my nail art, and then the last couple of weeks I've just been, I feel like I haven't been doing well. Before I leave, my last manicure video, I talked about, and I talked about it a little bit in this video, Tonic's Ambrosia. Somebody asked me in the last video that I did if Ambrosia was similar to Pahlish if it was similar to Kauai by Pahlish. And so I did a swatch, which I'll put up here, but I also wanted to show the polishes on camera. So these are a lot closer on the nail than I thought they were gonna be. When she initially asked me, and I believe it was Charisse, when she initially asked me, I was gonna be like, no, they're totally not close at all. But after swatching them, they're actually kind of close. The only thing that really stands out to me is that Pahlish, the Kauai, has a very distinct scattered holographic, which Tonic does not. So looking at them together, and my lighting's starting to dim because it's getting dark, so I don't know how much you're gonna be able to tell here on camera, but so the color is kind of close. I would say the Pahlish blue is just slightly darker than Ambrosia, but they both have that kind of like reddish shimmer, which you can kind of see there. It looks like the Pahlish one is just slightly more cooler than the Ambrosia one, but the thing that really makes them stand, the thing that really sets them apart, I think, is the scattered holographic in Pahlish. It's just more pronounced. This has more of a like linear holographic feel, so they're kind of close. If you don't wear a lot of polishes like this, you might be able to, you know, justify not getting both of these, but I think they're different enough to where I think you probably could have both of them in your collection without feeling terribly bad about it. So that is Ambrosia and Kauai. And I think that'll wrap it up because this is getting kind of long. So I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a great one, and I hope to talk to you soon.